Hey, welcome back. In today's video, what we're going to be taking a look at is what actually happens inside the sleeping mind when it represses its awareness of who it truly is in the waking state and falls asleep. Now, this is really important because if we can get an understanding of what's happening in our dreams, we can actually start taking control and therefore responsibility to be able to start going in the direction of the goal that we've set, which is getting back to our Sat Chit Anandana, our waking state. So if we can understand the experiences that we're having and how they're happening, then we're going to be in a better position to be able to take that sense of control and start directing our own destiny. So what happens when the sleeping mind goes to sleep is that it splits into three different aspects. So granted that it is still one sleeping mind, but it's really helpful to be able to understand how these three different aspects operate because they can explain why we're having the experiences we're having, but also what our responsibility is within that experience and how to get ourselves outside of it. So the three different aspects are here on the board, and I'll go through them one by one, but know that in future videos we'll be diving deep into all these different terms because these are the building blocks of the dream, and it's very important for us to get this groundwork right so that as we're moving forward we've got a very strong foundation for our teaching purposes. So the first one that I'll direct your attention to is the dreamer. Now the dreamer is the aspect that kind of comes alive or experiences itself as being alive when it's outside the awake state. So it's that first sense of individuality. It experiences itself as being something, as being independent of its awake state, its Sat Chit Anandana. It's on its own. It's kind of like this this little ball of potentiality, this little ball of consciousness. However, within its experience, it then has, some choices to make to be able to take this newfound sense of individuality and make something of it, or to renounce it. So that's where Shiva comes in to the framework, is that this is a Hindu term, but basically all this represents is bringing a memory into the sleeping mind, and the memory is who it really is beyond this veil that it's put over itself. So Shiva is only ever going to speak to the dreamer about waking up simply because Shiva knows everything outside of the awake state on this side of the first red line is complete illusion, that it can't actually happen because this state is unchanging, and that everything that does happen is only happening in dreams or in illusion. So we don't have too much to say about Shiva at the moment, but his responsibility will become a lot more intense as the kind of framework develops. That he has a bigger responsibility the further away we get from being at this state, very close to our Sat Chit Anandana, where we can just open our eyes. So the takeaway point there is that Shiva is simply a memory that we've brought into our sleeping mind, and he will always only talk to the dreamer of being able to open its eyes. It's the only logical thing to do. So the other aspect within the sleeping mind is Maya. So Maya literally is another, translates into what is not. And that is another Hindu term. But I think this is a really good one because basically what it's saying there is that it's illusion. And what Maya is responsible for is creating all the dreams that the dreamer will experience if he chooses to go along with Maya, to make something of his individuality. So Maya could be thought of as director in a movie, that it's her responsible to go out and do everything and organize everything, get all the actors together, get all the scripts together, get all the film crew together, do everything and create this experience, this movie, this dream. So everything below that second dash line could be thought of as dreams, and everything below the strong is all along the red line could be thought of as all on the background of sleep. So the reason why or how the sleeping mind can do this, is to split into these different aspects, is because inherent in the first split is the ability to keep on splitting. So we could think about the sleeping mind as also the split mind, that it's split off from its true state. So therefore it has this inherent power to keep on splitting. And as we'll see when we get down and further into Maya's framework, that we'll see that she fragments or splits into trillions of different pieces for a very logical reason for her, which we'll get to when we get there. So remember here that the last thing to take away is to remember that the dreamer is always in control, that it's up to him to choose which direction he goes, and that's all his responsibility is to do within this framework of the sleeping mind. So I understand that you might be doubtful that all this could be taking place just in a dream, but I again would direct your attention back to what happens every night when we fall asleep, that there is an aspect there within our sleep that's doing everything in our dreams, which we've just defined as Maya, that creates all the experiences for the dream figure and all the other dream figures in our dream. There's that aspect of ourselves as the dreamer that sometimes we just, if it's a nightmare, we just decide to wake up, but we're never actually affected by the dream, that we're always independent of it. And there's this, sometimes people have had the ability to become conscious in their dreams, so they become lucid dreamers, that they're aware that they're asleep and they're dreaming. So that could be seen as the introduction of Shiva into the dream, that reminds the dreamer, hey, you're just sleeping. You can wake up back to what's beyond your nighttime sleep, back to your waking state. So yep, feel free to ask any questions about today's video. Otherwise, I'll see you soon.